Alt 98.7. Here are the Marias.
Hey, hey. Congrats on winning the contest.
You did it. They said
Wow.
it couldn't be done.
How did y'all win?
Wait a damn minute.
Hell yes. So many familiar faces. I love it. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
When we talk about everything that happened, would rather sit around. I don't need a lesson, you just call me out. Call me when I'm distant, always run your mouth. I don't wanna listen, you're on my case. Won't you stop with that look on your face? And I can't believe
you. So we're gonna pause for questions.
That was incredible. How are you guys feeling? You're coming off your U.S. tour. You're back in a city you started in. How are you feeling spiritually, mentally, physically?
So good.
Yeah, we feel good. It took a day to like adjust. It felt like what just happened. Were we just on tour? Now we're home. But it feels really good to be back. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take it back to the beginning before we get into Submarine, because we will. You guys started in LA forever ago. Maria, you won a costume contest. You took that money, drove to LA, met Josh in the iconic Kibitz room. Then you called Jesse and Edward. You formed the Marias, but you guys also created this magical sound that I don't even have enough adjectives to describe. It's like this hypnotic, alt indie, take you to another universe mesh. How intentional was creating that sound? Like, walk me through those first conversations.
I mean, it wasn't like we didn't set out to make, dreamy or alt or, everything that you described. We didn't like set out to do that. We just wanted to express ourselves and wanted to write songs together. And so we just kind of started. And I think Josh's influences mixed with like my influences just kind of, we made what we made. And then when we bring it to like the live setting, everybody else brings like all of their influences and sounds, and it just creates this like, mesh of
Magic.
everything that we love.
Yeah, you guys have truly created a magical sound that I would say you've become known for. How intentional then was adding Spanish music?
The first song that I ever wrote was in Spanish, and then the second song that I wrote was in English, and then the third was in Spanish. So, ever since I just started writing music, I always wrote in both languages because I grew up speaking both languages. I grew up listening to music in both languages. So it was just natural for me to like express myself in both languages, and I love that like we've continued to do that, and I love that all of the guys have embraced that part of who we are, even though they don't know Spanish and they don't understand it. They just they've
Just
like,
vibes.
yeah, they've just like embraced it. They'll sing backups in Spanish without knowing, but they've like embraced the culture too. Like when we're with my family, they're very like open to the food and just to the culture. So I'm like grateful for them for that.
Also, the first song we ever wrote together was in Spanish as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ask for translation?
No, still haven't.
He didn't. It was about him. It was about him.
Oh, see, that's the code to doing it.
I almost didn't want to know what it was about, I was like, let's just leave it.
Yeah.
He never asks me what the songs in Spanish are about. He just lets me like be
Oh,
free
ever?
and no.
Wow.
He lets me just be free to express myself like without, I don't know, that's how I take it. I take it as you're being free to let me express myself however I want without,
Yeah, or just scared to know what it is.
whichever way you put it.
Yeah, I once heard you say that you didn't feel Puerto Rican enough and you didn't feel American enough. And I know that that's something that every immigrant kid, me included, relates to. How have you navigated creating music between two cultures? Has that been challenging or?
I think what's the most challenging part is just the identity part of it, but I think making the music just comes so natural because I grew up in the, just balancing both of those, my Latin side and then growing up in the US and listening to music in both and speaking both and kind of crossing between the two cultures. So making the music comes super natural, but I think it's the identity part of like when I go home to Puerto Rico, I'm like, am I Puerto Rican enough to be here? Because they're like, tienes un acento cuando hablas español, ¿De dónde eres? Eres de allá afuera. You're from out there. I'm like, I mean, yeah, And then, when I'm here in the U.S., it's like, well, that's also a part of who I am. And, growing up, there were like a lot, I would take your parent to work day. My dad would come. He would know no English. And he was just this gregarious guy, and they were like, who is this guy that like is not like us? I grew up in a really small town in Georgia, so there weren't a lot Latin, I didn't, yeah. So it was just interesting growing up, like being in the two cultures. But
Has that relationship changed from when you started to now, just with feeling comfortable in that identity?
I still kind of struggle with it. In the music industry, like when we were first starting out, like, my foray into like the LA music scene was like this cool indie vibe, but I didn't see a lot of Latin people like making music or like a Latin indie sound in that world. And so I was like, do I kind of fit into this world? And making music with Josh, not that it was validating, that was validating for me, but I think like when we started making music together and playing it out live, and then people resonating with it and people resonating with, that experience, that was validating for me, because I was like, oh, okay, there's space for this kind of music here.
No, totally. I think you guys are creating your own lane, and you're speaking to a bunch of people that understand that being in between two cultures. But speaking of a relationship change, let's get into Submarine. So I have to start with how we got this album, because in Submarine Diaries and at Hollywood Forever, which I went to, you guys both kind of alluded, in both those instances, you alluded to the fact that you didn't know if this album was going to come to be. And you also said you didn't know if you were going to continue singing, which shocked me. So what were some of those moments that led you guys back to each other and creating this album?
For me, I think it was just the love of the project and the love of the music that we were making together. That kind of, it was the most important. It was just the project. I couldn't let it go so easy.
Same.
Did you guys have some difficult conversations?
Yes. We had difficult conversations, with Josh and I, but also like with the band.
Yeah.
Because, the band dynamic did shift a little bit before Submarine, but luckily we have, a really good therapist and really good,
Love that.
really good, just supportive friends and people around us that, were just really encouraging. And I think that's why we're standing here today, is just the support system around us that was just encouraging us to keep going.
I will say, when I am going through a heartbreak, I don't even want to see their face for a little bit. So the fact that you guys created a work of art, I would say, together is amazing. Did you guys have ground rules or like certain things that were off limits, or were you just writing like you normally would?
Yeah, no, we've never had any limitation when it comes to writing. I think there were some awkward moments, in writing lyrics and being like, and we'd like look at each other and be like, okay.
Do you want to talk about it, or?
And for the most part, we would just not talk about it and just keep going, because we would talk about it in the music.
Yeah.
And, I would express myself through like the words and the lyrics and the music, but Josh would express himself in like the mood and the chord progressions that he was picking, because I feel like that's how I like get to know Josh on a deeper level, is like hearing the chords that he puts together, and I'm like, wow.
Was there ever anything that you took off the album because you felt like it was too vulnerable?
No, there were maybe a song or two that, that took a while to come out because it was so vulnerable. But I think we, worked on ourselves and like worked on our relationship and kind of got to this, I don't know, like mutual agreement that the music is what's most important, and vulnerability is extremely important, and that's kind of like what people relate to, is when you're vulnerable and open, and so we never have limitations, and we didn't with this album.
And not much really changed between Cinema and Submarine as far as like our relationship goes. I mean, we were basically best friends during Cinema, and we're still best friends now. It's not like we're two completely different people. We're still the same people, and we still have the same relationship. Just a couple of things are a little different.
Yeah, I did see that you guys said that in Submarine Diaries that it's actually better working as a band now, and you guys are functioning like better than ever. So I thought that was super interesting. What would you say is the most vulnerable song on the album?
They're all equally.
Oh, see, that's a cop-out.
vulnerable. Okay. I think for me, a couple of the most vulnerable ones, if only just because there's not a lot of instrumentation, and so there's like a lot of emphasis on like the chords and the vocal. So I feel very vulnerable, like being, not being like hidden, with the instruments. And No One Noticed is pretty vulnerable as well. What
I think definitely those two.
Would you guys consider this a heartbreak album?
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to play some more music, and then I'll come back with some questions.
El frío, la noche, siempre me acuerdo de ti. Mi lenta canción, siempre me acuerdo de ti. Porque estoy lejos de ti. No te olvides de mí, porque estoy lejos de ti. No te olvides de mí. Tus ojos tan tristes, siempre me acuerdo de ti. Momentos felices, siempre me acuerdo de ti. Porque estoy lejos de ti. No te olvides de mí. Porque estoy lejos de ti. No te olvides de mí. Porque te sigo queriendo, ya no puedo más entre tus manos me estoy muriendo. Porque yo sigo cantando, no me queda más entre mis labios a todo llanto. Dormía tu pecho, siempre me acuerdo de ti. Porque estás lejos de mí. Yo no me olvido de ti. Porque estás lejos de mí. it's you that's always waiting, kissing the flowers in my hair. Where do you think I'd have another when you have always been the one? Your paranoia doesn't know you. Now all I wanna do is
So I wanted to talk to you guys about your visuals because I feel like they've become just as big a part of your band as your sound. I mean, even your Hollywood Forever show, those visuals were stunning. They were like cinematic. So what inspires your guys' visual decisions? And how do you make those types of decisions with your music videos and your colors and everything you do?
I think just what we consume, watching films, and yeah, I think it's just I don't know. It's like I've always been a fan of film, and I thought that that's kind of where I would end up before I knew that I wanted to do music. I took a film class in high school, and I just like fell in love with it. I fell in love with like editing and just the visuals of everything. And so then when I found out, you know, you can do both. You can do music and merge it with this, you know, sort of love that you have for visuals. I think it was like the perfect thing.
Well, they're incredible. The shows at Hollywood Forever were incredible. I also wanted to, speaking of different art forms, I went to see the after party at Hollywood Forever. Josh, you're DJing. You're in your DJ era.
Yep.
Are we going to get a side project? Are you doing that as something? Are we going to see you?
I may make some remixes.
Okay, cool.
I may keep DJing.
He's a really good DJ.
I might have really loved DJing this whole tour.
They were great. Who's been to an after party?
Yes. Did y'all hear the Heavy remix? I heard it for the first time after the Hollywood Forever DJ set. And when it started, I was like, wait, I like this song. Let's Shazam it. My friend and I were like,
Oh
let's
my
Shazam it real quick.
gosh.
And then it got to the part where we're like, wait, this is our song, but remixed. I was blown away.
I didn't even know you were
hilarious.
still there at that point.
Yeah, I was still there.
Okay, we're going to get to some fan questions. What would be your most unhinged dream collaboration?
If you know, Ken Carson.
Okay.
Enough said.
If you guys were not a band, what would your career be for each of you?
A contractor? Probably NASA.
Homeless.
Definitely in the NBA for sure.
Teacher.
Yes, I can definitely see that. Oh, and I think I would just be doing something in film, like, writer, director, or something.
I can see that. What names did you guys think about using before deciding on the Marias?
We didn't have any. We didn't have a band name for a very long time. We rehearsed for like 6 months
Was it the name of our group chat? Was it the Marias or the Eddies or something for a second?
Oh yeah, I think it was called the Eddies.
Well, after we, yeah.
You were so close, Eddie.
And it was Eddie's idea to call it the Marias.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what message or emotion do you hope your fans take away from Submarine?
I would hope that you'd feel, I think, a little bit more understood and like a little bit less alone. I don't know.
Well, congrats on an incredible album that we all are huge fans of.
Thank you.
They're going to play some more music now.
Maybe I lost my mind. No one noticed. No one noticed. It's getting old. All alone. May have lost it. I have lost it. No one tried to read my eyes. No one but you. Wish it weren't true. Maybe it's not right. Make you mine. Take a time. Come on, don't leave me. It can't be that easy, babe. If you believe me, I guess I'll get on a plane, fly to your city. Excited to see your face. Hold me, console me, and then I'll leave without a trace. Come on, don't leave me. It can't be that easy, babe. If you believe me, I guess I'll get on a plane, fly to your city. Excited to see your face. Hold me, console me, and then I'll leave without a trace. Come on, don't leave me. It can't be that easy, babe. If you believe me, I guess I'll get on a plane, fly to your city. Excited to see your face. Hold me, console me, and then I'll leave. Maybe it's not right. Make you mine. Take a time, and then I'll leave without a trace. I'd kinda like it if you'd call me, 'cause I'm so bored of being lonely. I need a virtual connection. Please be my fleeting obsession. I wanted to stay, wanted to be there, wanted to hold you, but I was afraid, wanted to be there. I should have told you.
Thank you.